Hi Year 5. We're going to look at the maths lesson for today, which is number and place value, and it's all about estimating. So I thought, rather than just leave you with the tutorial on your own and work through it, because I know that can be quite tricky if you've not got somebody explaining it, I thought I would work through it with you first and explain it and give you some more examples, and then when you come to do the task on your own, it should be a lot easier. And don't forget, you can pause this video at any point and have a go at what I'm showing on the screen. So you can pause it, you can slow it down if I'm talking too fast, just pause and then carry on when you're ready to go. Okay, so when you come to your tutorial, by the way, you will have different numbers, all right? Every time you log in to My Maths, you'll get a different set of numbers to work with. The concepts are always the same, but you'll get different numbers, different digits. So for example, if you did this and then you didn't do very well and you wanted to have another go at it, you would have the same questions but with different numbers. So there's no possibility of you memorising the answers, and I'm certainly not showing the answers now, I'm showing you how to do it. Okay, so you will have different numbers when you log in. So the first question here is, it says, how might we estimate the answer to the calculation 79 multiplied by 67? And this is really important here, that it's talking about estimating. So it doesn't want you to go straight ahead and multiply 79 by 67. It wants you to use your estimation skills to get a rough idea of what that answer might be. Okay, so it says we'll start by rounding both numbers as much as we can. Now that's a little bit vague, as much as we can. What it means is looking at those numbers, 79 and 67, and thinking about what they're most likely to be rounded to. Now because they're both tens numbers, you would round to the nearest 10, so that makes sense. So if we took 79, have a think about it, what would we round 79 to? Yeah, 80, you're right. If you said 80, you're right. And what would we round 67 to? Have a think. You're right, we'd round it up to 70, okay? So we end up with 80 multiplied by 70. Right, so we've rounded these numbers, and this should make it easier for us to get an estimate. So what it's saying here is that we're going to multiply 80 times 70, we're going to multiply 8 by 7 by 10 by 10. Now I think if I'd not taught you through this, this would be the bit where you might start to think, where have those numbers come from? So I'm going to explain that in a little bit more detail. So on here, if we need to multiply 80 by 70. Now I've showed you in class lots of times that you can use the concepts that you already know to help you get to this. So you know that 8 times 7 is 56, okay? Now 80 is 10 times bigger than 8. So if we do 80 times 7, because that's gone 10 times bigger, your answer is going to be 10 times bigger. So 56 times 10 is 560. So 80 multiplied by 7 is 560. So we've got the 80, but we need to get back to the 70. So 80 times 70, the only thing I've changed here is my 7 has got 10 times bigger and becomes 70. So because this number's got 10 times bigger, my answer is going to get 10 times bigger again. So 560 multiplied by 10 is 5,600. So from that, you should be able to see now that what I've actually done is 8 times 7 here, and I got 56. I multiplied that by 10 because I'd multiplied my 8 by 10 to get to 80. That's where this one's come from. And then I multiplied in my next step my 7 by 10, so I've multiplied by 10 again to get 5,600. So that there is what I've broken down that to show you the steps that I've taken to get to it. Okay. So on here, 8 times 7 times 10 times 10, it's calculating it out now in steps. 8 times 7 is 56. 10 times 10 is 100, which leaves us with 56 multiplied by 100, which gives us 5,600. And you'll see exactly the same answer that we came from there. Okay. Right, so once we've used rounding to estimate, we can then calculate the exact answer. And that will show us how close we've got to the real answer, to the accurate answer, by using estimation. So on here, this grid is showing you how to partition your numbers in order to multiply them step by step. So it says we will now try calculating the exact answer to 39 multiplied by 64. Now it's telling you here that the estimated answer is 2,400. So you know from the previous clip that we've just done that they would have rounded these two-digit numbers to the nearest 10, first of all. So 39 would have been rounded to 40, and then 64 would have been rounded down to 60. And you know that 40 times 60 is 2,400. 4 times 6 is 24, times 10 is 240, times 10 again is 2,400. So that is the estimated answer. So we're going to see how close that estimated answer is to the exact answer by using partitioning. Okay, so to do this, we split, I don't know if you can see this, we split the 39 and the 64 into tens and ones and put the values into the table. So 39 becomes 30 and 9, we've got the tens and the ones. So you can guess that 64 will become, that's right, 60 and 4. Now if you've used the partitioning way before to chunk and multiply, then you might be familiar with this. If you've not, then listen really carefully to how this works. Once we've partitioned our two numbers that we're multiplying, we then start to multiply each section. Okay, so we say in this box here 30 times 60. 30 times 60 is, if we look on here, 3 times 6 is 18, times 10 is 180, times 10 again is 1,800. I'll just type that in. Then it's going to ask you to mark it. Okay, so we've got that. 30 multiplied by 4. Well, we know that 3 times 4 is 12, multiplied by 10 is 120. Right, so we're going to put 120 into that box and mark it.
Do you want to
Now we move on to this one. So we've got 9 multiplied by 60, or 60 multiplied by 9. They both mean exactly the same thing. 9 times 6 is 54, multiplied by 10 is 540. Mark it. And then we get to the easy bit. 9 multiplied by 4. What's 9 multiplied by 4? 36. Okay, so now we've got the different sections of our multiplication. So we've got 4 little answers here that we need to calculate, we need to add together. So first of all, we go across here and we add 1,800 and 120. Now you can probably do that in your head. Hopefully you can. If you can't, you can do a quick column addition. But using your place value knowledge, you should be able to add them together. 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 add 2 is 2, 8 and 1 is 9, and 1 add nothing, so we've got is 1,920. Mark it, and then we've got 540, add 36. So I'm just going to do that in my head mentally now, because I know I've got 4 tenths and 3 tenths, which gives me 7 tenths. So 540 add 30 gives me 570, add 6 is 576. Okay, now we come right to this last column, and these are the last 2 numbers that we need to add together to get our final answer, which is 1,920, add 576. So go back to my column addition. 1,920, add 576, making sure that I line up my place value correctly. 0 plus 6 is 6, 2 plus 7 is 9, 9 plus 5 is 14, carry over my 1, 1 and 1 is 2, 2,496, and mark it. Okay, so we've got all those steps right. Now it's your turn to have a go and work through the rest of the questions. Right, so if we look on page 2, it takes that concept and it moves it on. So this says try estimating the answers to these multiplications. So again, we're going to estimate the answers. We're not calculating them, we're estimating them. And gives you a bit more information here. It says round the 2-digit numbers to the nearest 10 before you multiply, and you're going to round 3-digit numbers to the nearest 100 before you multiply. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples here. We'll look at number 1. So number 1 says 13 multiplied by 13. Okay, so I'm going to round, these are 2-digit numbers, so I'm going to round them to the nearest 10. 13 rounded to the nearest 10 is, well, it's a 3 here in the ones column, so that means I'm going to round down. So 13 rounded to the nearest 10 is 10. So again, 13 rounded to the nearest 10 is 10, which leaves me with 10 times 10, which is 100. Okay? So using rounding, to estimate, 13 multiplied by 13 gives me roughly 100. So that's a 2-digit by 2-digit. We'll have a look at number 3, which is a 3-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit number. So on here, I've got 611 multiplied by 27. So using what it tells me up here, I'm going to round my 3-digit number to the nearest 100. So 611 to the nearest 100 is, yeah, hopefully you said it, 600. And then I'm going to multiply it by, well, 27 rounded to the nearest 10. Because I've got 7 in my ones column, that means I round up, so 27 becomes 30. Okay, and now I'm left with 600 multiplied by 30. So we can use the strategy that I went through here to help you work it out. So we use what we already know. So I'm going to start off with 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. So if 6 times 3 is 18, then 6 times 30, which is 10 times bigger, is 180. But I don't want 6 times 30, I want 600 times 30. So I'm going to take it back up in increments of 10. So 60 times 30, well, I've gone 10 times bigger from 6 to 60, so my answer's getting 10 times bigger, which gives me 1,800. But I don't want to stop at 60, I need to go up to 600. So increase 10 times bigger, 600 times 30, make my answer 10 times bigger, 1,800 times 10 gives me 18,000. So my answer of 611 multiplied by 27 using rounding to estimate is 18,000.